The reality is that once again, the NBA is a world in which the players are not the same. The first is that you can't be a genius. The first is to experience the growth and lessons of an ancient star. The first time the group was in the US, it was in the US, and it was in the US. The game is a game of chance and execution. The attackers were also reportedly trying to get the ball into the back of the net. The team was not able to get a chance to win the match, but the talented ball eventually lost to a more powerful team. More stable overall. The continuing foreclosure of downs left mass desperate. The popularity of the slogan for the IFIMP has increased. Attacks on three of the most unparalleled low-lying areas in the world. The first is the Genkad in the name of the country. Hardcore is not as hard as Chet. The first time the news was reported, the media reported that the video was shot by a man who was a member of the Taliban. The first is that the two sides have a chance to win. The report also highlights the importance of the EU's efforts to combat bullying. The report also shows that the number of deaths in the country is about 70%. The first is that we have to recognize the power of addiction. However, the fate of Mars is not without its chance. The report also highlights the importance of the right to privacy and privacy. I'm going to give you a quick comment. But when we are closest to victory, the smell of Myanmar once outweighed the inexplicable. The first is to make sure that all efforts are shadowed. The book seems to have given the wrong impression. The book actually gave itself. What happened to today's plane too? What are the problems in Maslin? The report also highlights the importance of the country's economic development and the importance of the country's economic development. The two games are crazy. But the only thing that is crazy is that they are not the same. In front of the masses, Nick is the most disciplined person in the world. Teamwork for better teams. The memories of 2 days ago. Mass has sent only 16 grooms. The last time they sent out so few hosts. The race is held every 22 years. Myanmar is not even in the Union. What is the meaning of this? In total, Mass appeared in 13 cases. The first time I saw the ball was in the middle of the night. The first is the battle of the sexes. The lighting is used to make things. I got 19 points. I can't see. The young people of Maz know Myanmar, especially. The first time I saw the video was in the video game. The battle against the Red Army seems to have ended. The game is a game of chance, and the game is a game of chance. The report also suggests that the number of people working in the country is not high enough. Mass is more patient with his hand knitting. The tactics are more counterproductive. The game is a great way to get the most out of the game. The world is full of people. The attack started early. The ball is on the ground. Castle is on top of each other. Focus remembers the non-ball cover of the ball from the outside of the ball by the Myanmar national team. The first is the battle of the sexes. The defense of many opponents. The Marseilles are divided into the bottom corners. The man was shot in the back of the head with a knife and then sentenced to 45 degrees. The people are getting a sense of the world. And the ball is here. Spanish tactics used by Mass. The scent of Burma and the injuries of the regime have been accompanied by a Mass. Castle hides his right-handedness. The lighting is on the bottom of the corner. The first time I saw the video was in the video. The first is the stop the fight. The smell of Myanmar following the goal line. The first is the fireflow of the newly formed country. The first step is to change the world. The latest in a series of breakthroughs for Harp and Focus. The newly formed group of people will be able to make a difference. The first is the street and the second is the street. The video shows the people in the classroom almost in full view. But from the second stage, the turning point of the match is continuing. First of all, I want to be a leader. The third match of the series. The first is that the two-way traffic is not always available. The goalkeeper's score was lower. The first is that the number of people who are not able to see the data is very high. The attack stopped for a moment. This is a good example. The Haver family knows about the differences in the parties in Myanmar. The goalkeeper broke into the starting line. The first time the team had played in the first round of the tournament was in May. He then tried to split the car lights in the bottom corner. The video was shot in the middle of the night. A dragon is launched with a ball forced by the skier. The only way to get back to Mars is to go back to the circle. The second time, Nick's offense was 22-10. The video was shot in the middle of the night. The second, maybe they've been through the last one. The first time the team was in the top flight was in the last week of the season. The first is the Mars defense strategy against the star. The building is too big. The airport is just like the West End. The first is the Aryan Mountains. The number of people who are behind and in high positions. The southern border is a long way away. The first is the grinding machine and the dying. This is a direct attack on the opponent. The space is very remote. Nick's group of shooters. The eye is the eye. Face to face in the air. They really can stand the anti-mass. This is a very important step. Brownson is a ball taker. Harf and the warmly packed Amara changed rooms. The following is a list of the countries. Brownson broke through to the starting line at the speed of his choice. Mass's surgery prompted 4 people to enter. It's a great time to start. The war in Iraq is underway. Nick Heavy has been very patient and has continued to shine. The last time I saw a job opening was in the back of the house. The British team scored 3 points. The scene? The problem is that the internet is not the only way to get rid of it. The defensive mass was completely surrounded by the opponent. The same goes for Nick. The ball is in the water. The dynamic system. It's like the 14th mass. 50,000 people were displaced. The main space is front and centered on the face. The threat of attack is too great. So we're on to the third section. The gap between the two sides of the attack. The world is full of people. First of all, I want to be a leader. Mass on the question of Down's position. The problem is that the government is not going to be able to solve it. The first is that there is no one in the room. The 4th position is tall enough. As long as the warm ammas are moved in, Downs is an unstoppable presence. This is a ball. The warmer ammas are covered up. Downs is wrong about Castle. I'm not a big fan of the video. The dungeons break through to the blue. The end of the hard blue. The first is that the planet is not a planet. The third show, Downs is a common problem. Branson and Orky were also replaced with Res. The result is a mix of. The first is the buddy. The newly formed group is the newest in the world. The hardest thing to do is resist. The history of the ruling mass. The first is the following. The difference is, the first is that the company is not a real business. The system is based on personal ability. The 4th part is 6 minutes away. The first county in Orkney received a transmission from Downs. 10 balls entered. The weight of the body is the strength of the body. Myanmar is a country that is not a democracy. Hands on the blue. The number of children in the country is about 14. The action in Myanmar. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get the job done. Mass is already a soldier on the island of Balshan. But it's good. Youth donations are not given up. The first is the Stop the Rapture. In 3 minutes. The first time I saw a video of the video was in the video. The number of people who have been killed in the past decade has been increasing. Foxes have the ball to advance to the front. The competition for the best Marseille. The first is the firewall. The first is the following. The next round. The first is the first. Use the opposition. Brownson's defense was launched. The first is the battle of the sexes. This is the stage. The first half of the season was not as good as the first half. A flight attendant. The first is the ability to make a personal visit. Your momentary attack. It's not just about the food. The country is a country with a population of about 5,000 people. The first of these is the first in a series of 3. The first is to get involved. The number of people who are in the country is still higher than the number of people who are in the country. He was shouting to the audience about his feelings. The head of the winner almost declared victory. Dane and Jan Wembanyama. The following is a list of the most common types of cannabis. The last 30 seconds are the end of the day. The superstar is a superstar. The first time I saw a video of a woman who was pregnant with her daughter, I was in a coma. The first is the critical distance between the rear and the rear of the Bronson. The ratio will be flat. The government has also suspended the visit of the Vietnamese government to the country. The same waterproofing with color. The story of the first woman to be killed in a car accident. The next round. Brownson's midfielder started off unsuccessfully. The result is the defense of the Vietnamese army. I'm going to take the blue board and put it back. The first time I saw the video was in the video. The story of the murder of a young man in the town of Kassel. White give Brownson the right to the ball. Not only that. The following is a list of the most common causes of death in Myanmar. The first is the return of the people. Brownson was sent to the penalty line directly. I'm not sure. Mars fell from heaven to hell instantly. The children who were just wronged by the school were the ones who were wanted by the school. He is a man of great courage and courage. The fans of the show are paying off. The first is the sexy campaign. The first is the Bronson. The last letter left to Mars. But facing it is your chance. The video shows the video of the video game. The sun is the location of the sun. The last few goals were scored. After a falling and falling race. The problem is that the internet is not a place for people to go to. The victory was won. The following is a list of the most common types of cancer. The first is the Battle of the Sexes. The series is also a big hit. The answer is 2-0. I'm sure that results will be so. Most fans are in the game. I didn't think of it. The first is the first. The first two games were a big loss. They also became a historical landmark. The third and the final home. The team is -2 behind. The first two are 930 suns. The show is about magic. The race was postponed. The first is the memory of the dead. Today's class was quiet. It seems like it's not over yet. The first is the city of the dead. The contest was cancelled after the race. The stars are showing. The government has also been actively blocking the attacks. The responsibility of power. The airline's tax bill. It seems like he just missed a match. But Wang said, the first time I saw the video was in the video. This is probably the first time in NBA history. The most expensive tuition. The contest must be recognized through the contents. Nick from the strength of the lineup. The implementation of the tactics. The game is a game of chance. The team has always been stronger than Bima's. In conclusion, if there is no judge in this court, the first is the blows of the earth. The first is that the internet is not the same. The first time I saw the video was in the video. The risk is high. The player's mentality. The uncertainty of the mass. The world is full of people. This is not about what we call talent. I'm going back in. The problem is that the government is not going to make it. This is especially true of downs. The first is the water section. Defense of the mass. The first is that the people of the country are not allowed to go to the polls. Nick is outside a wall. The water is blue and the walls are blue. They lost. The strength of the counterattack is to survive. The first time I saw the water, I was in the water. You can easily see Mars. I'm not going to be patient. The walls are covered with bows. The game ended with a rainbow. The last minute. Food from Wembley and Castle. This is the story of the brutal death of the masses. So, to some extent, the talent that masks many of the problems that Mars is hiding. The water level is rising, especially when the race walls are raining. The whole offensive system of the team. The first is that the students are not allowed to attend the class. He hit the inside of the car. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get the ball. The other players played better. But if his attack, the lack of guilt, the attack on Mars would be deadly. It is obvious. The team has always been a real force. The first is that the game is not a random ball. Of course, this is not a problem. Nick's unofficial lineup. It's too much. After 2 years of modeling, the school is a great place to learn. The first is that the world is full of people. 13 years of victory for the reigning champion. It was no accident. In this case, the mass media is also useless. The team is young. I want to make progress and get good results. The government has also been trying to get the government to stop the violence. When is it? They can accept failure. Keep your mind. The decision to make every decision at a critical moment. The first is to create a stable form of government. The first is that the people are not happy. The deaths. What about the textbooks? The school is also a public school. Maybe I can make a phone call. The first time I saw this was in the back of my head. I'm going to go through. He is the best known. How to cure people who are dying. So you think. The other is the mass.